At the sound of the voice, you immediately turned around only for your breath to hitch in your throat. It's him! It's really him! Tengen-sama! You exclaimed all too excitedly. Seeing him and saying his name left a sweet taste in your mouth, filling you with a great sense of longing. He showed up after all, and your sorrow is immediately replaced by utmost joy as your heart begins to dance within your ribcage, so much that it feels like you're about to have a heart attack. Tengen just stands there while smiling at you, and he is just as beautiful as the day you'd first met him. He does look like a god right now, donning colorful robes fit for a king, and you didn't even realize that your body moving towards him until you were in front of him. The only thing separating the two of you was the hashman, and you mindlessly gripped the bars as if needing to get him. You came, you say, not all that displeased to see him. Of course. Are you happy to see me? He chuckles. I told you I was going to keep coming back. You couldn't help but blush at his words. Yes, how could he forget? He'd promised he wouldn't stop visiting you. Not until you'd become his fourth wife. Fourth wife. The two of you leaned in close, and you're unable to keep that smile that Tengen found himself loving so much off your pretty mouth. You're enchanting. He thinks his eyes narrow and shine with hidden love. Sorry I kept you waiting, Yin-chan, he apologizes. But I live an hour away from Yoshiwara, so it takes me a while to get here on foot, he exclaimed softly. So, that's it. I would have gone here earlier, but I wanted to look my best for you, he added. Well, he almost certainly succeeded in that aspect, and you weren't quite sure if you should complain or not. Apparently, he had the same idea as you, since you went through the hassle to doll yourself up just for him. Also, great minds think alike, don't they? It's okay, Tengen-sama. I'm just happy you're finally here, you tell him. Him? Both you and Tengen immediately glanced to see Lady Yatamoto still standing there. Oh god, haha. So caught up in your conversation with Tengen, you had completely forgotten she was still in the room. Sorry to interrupt your little reunion, but if you wish of Yin-chan for the night, Mr. Uzui, I suggest you pay up and get a room, she says sternly. Sorry about that, ma'am, he says, before turning back to you. I'll wait for you in the pleasure quarters, my love. With that, you watched longingly through the harsham as he entered the brothel. You were practically squealing like a schoolgirl on the inside and simply couldn't wait to be alone with him. Lady Yatamoto nearly grumbled. Well, Yin, go with it then. There's money to be made. Yes, ma'am, you say happily and hurried past her. Your lover is waiting for you after all. You took some time to compose yourself, making sure you looked spiffing as you rearranged your hair and kimono. You then simply slightly told the ninja to wait outside with a box of chocolates until you gave them the signal to enter. You wanted to surprise Tengen, just as he'd done with you via the bouquets. With your heart still drumming in your chest, you slid the soji open and was met with the sight of your ever flamboyant lover sitting comfortably on one of the I'm going to butcher this name, I know it already, Zanbutitins, and eagerly waiting for you. So we meet again, Tengen responds, smiling at you once you entered the room and closed the soji behind you. You found yourself staring at him both lovingly and longingly, giving your eyes enough time to look over him. You swallow down until your nerves are in the pit in its place. You watch intently as he then stood and casually walked over towards you until he was in front of you. You immediately caught whiff of the familiar scent of vanilla and lavender on his person, along with his natural scent. You sighed, finding it both pleasant and masculine. Did you miss me? He asked seductively. Always, you say shyly. I waited for you every night, you admitted. Happy to hear that, because I couldn't wait to see you, he says, looking at you with a gaze you were intimately familiar with, one laced with hunger and need. I never stopped thinking about you, he says, his tone low and filled with mischief. You quickly went to change the subject. Thanks for the flowers. You're so kind. I really loved them, you say as he leans in closer. You're welcome. I figured a sweet girl like yourself deserves something nice. So I'm sorry about the Chinook buff mice. He apologizes. I didn't even bother asking you if you were afraid of rodents. I was careless, and I hope they didn't frighten you too much. No, it's okay, Tengen-sama. I'd admit, I was scared at first, but after taking time to know them better, we became good friends. You tell him. Besides, I blame myself for not telling you about my pet cat, you added, and didn't miss how his eyes whined with dread. But don't worry, she didn't eat the mice. You quickly reassured him. Tengen released a sigh of relief, and you intently felt his warm breath on your lips as his hand gripped your chin gently. Fuchsia eyes glanced into eye-colored ones passionately. Good to know, he says, and couldn't help himself as he closed the distance between the two of you, and you kissed. At his actions, you kissed back with vulgar, like you hadn't seen him in ages, when it's only been 5 days. Oh, how you miss this. You're happy, so happy, to be with him again like this. I'm so happy to be with you, you whispered after pulling away, your face still just a couple inches away from each other, as you caressed his muscular chest that was exposed. I know, he breathes, and you look beautiful, by the way, he whispers in your ear as his hands travel down your body to your hips. Do you wear this little number just for me? He teased, devilish hands sliding up the hem of your kimono. You blushed and bit your bottom lip, feeling his hands slip under your, I'm gonna butcher this, konashimiki, and grope your booty. You couldn't help but arch into his touch, and you feel that similar sensation run through you. Yes, you admit. I wanted to surprise you, Tengen-sama. Well, color me surprised. He sensitively licked the shell of your ear, which made you weak to the knees. You found yourself enjoying his, mischievous ways, as his lips found yours once more, and you kissed him back, nervous and unsteady. Suddenly, you soon found yourself being slowly guided over towards the futon. I know I said I would wait to put a ring on it, but you make it very hard for me to resist, he says, sitting down and making you straddle his lap. His breath had gone slightly labored, and his gaze had grown more intense as he began undoing your obi. You swallowed nervously, giving him a timid look. Holy shit, this is all moving too fast. At this rate, you're not going to be able to give him his other gift. Wait, Tengen-sama. You quickly stopped him, and he looks at you questioningly. What's wrong? I have another surprise for you. If you guys thought this chapter was gonna get spicy, well, it wasn't. Sorry, but a spicy chapter is coming up soon.